It's the never-ending story in Formula One of flexing wings, isn't it? It's a story that blew up on Saturday at the Barcelona Grand Prix, where it was actually, interestingly, Lewis said that Red Bull have found a 10th because of this bending rear wing. And to an extent this is true. You can definitely see that as the car goes onto the straight, the rear wing on the rear view camera starts to sink down ever so slightly, and as it brakes, the rear wing pops back up. Now, a lot of noises have been pointed at Red Bull over this, because Red Bull obviously have a long history of aeroelasticity and aerodynamics that meet the regulations and the tests, but you know, you can see them flexing on track. But to be fair to Red Bull in this situation, everybody's rear wing is flexing in this manner, some more so than others. It was highlighted. Mercedes were one of the teams last year. I've got a picture of a Haas rear wing, for example, that showed it was very much skewed on the straights. And again, the front-facing cameras showed the front wings flattening out at speed as well. And this is something the FIA is allowed to carry on over a long period, and eventually someone's going to push the regulations that little bit too far, and it seems as though what Red Bull are doing here are the ones that seems to have kicked the FIA back into action. So what's happening is that as the aero load on the rear wing increases, it's bending downwards, and what that then means is that the wing has a slightly smaller angle of attack, produces less drag, gives you more speed on the straights. And then when you're at kind of medium to low speeds, the wing is at its maximum downforce setting. So it's almost, you're getting a semi-DRS-like effect on the straights. It's obviously not quite as powerful as DRS. And for Monaco, as we understand, is that there'll be some new tests introduced for rear wings to try and prevent this sort of thing happening. But this is all really long overdue and something that should have been sorted out long ago. And again, we're seeing suddenly it becoming an issue, and I think this really is a problem for the FIA and how they tackle this. I mean, the regulations say that bodywork can't flex. I mean, it's as simple as that. Then there's always this engineering argument, well, nothing is infinitely rigid. Yeah, true enough, things are going to wobble, things are going to bend, but this is designed in flex. Let's not be naive about this. Teams have spent a lot of time making sure that wing will meet the pull-down test, where they quite literally exert a force with some brackets on the rear wing to see if it flexes a certain amount, and that's used in various other parts of the car's aero. It is fairly effective, but it really depends on the particular direction it's pulling, and the loads are much smaller compared with the loads that rear wings will produce on the circuit. So there needs to be another way of doing things, and the most obvious way, bearing in mind you have a rigidly mounted camera in the middle of the car or in various points on the car, is to do it optically. We can see the wing flexing on the straights, we can see the front wing flexing on the straights. Why not have something that measures it in an optical way, rather than doing something tested back in the pits? None of this is insurmountable, but the teams are playing the game here. They are purposely making these wings bend in a way that's been designed in. You can see the Mercedes moving maybe as much as an inch on the straights as well, and an element of that will be acceptable. Last year we saw far larger deflections on rear wings, as I said, from a number of teams. They pick and choose when they seem to run these and when they need these, which is kind of quite interesting. So yeah, everyone, if they bring in new regulations, it will affect virtually every team on the grid, because for a start they'll all have to make sure that their wings do meet that test, whether they've really gone a long way down the road of making it flex or not. They'd have to make sure that their wings are legal, because if they are tested and they fail the test, then they won't be able to run that wing during the weekend. Now, I don't think Monaco is the race that's particularly important for this, because obviously everyone's running maximum downforce, there's no straights. Any flexing of the rear wings really wouldn't make any difference anyway. But when we come to some of the higher speed circuits through the balance of this year, then that really will have an effect. So it's quite a big issue for all of the engineering teams.